Welcome to Fantasy Baseball, Baseball, Baseball. I am Dan O'Day along with Steve Romano. Hey, Steve.
How you doing, Dan?
Doing okay this week. Let's talk about some Major League Baseball. There's some interesting things going on, and we don't need to even ask. The best team in the major leagues is still the Detroit Tigers.
The Detroit Tigers. I know some teams have closed the gap, and we'll talk about them. But yep, the Tigers are still kind of rolling pretty strong.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now after tonight's games. I gotta tell you, I'm wrong. The Milwaukee Brewers. They've won 11 in a
Oh,
row. They are now 60 and 40, counting tonight's game. Detroit 60 and 41. The new best team in the majors is the Milwaukee Brewers.
I love it because I have talked about Milwaukee for a while. They're playing great. They
They,
it, it, I- they've just got so much going for them. It's really an amazing thing
they
because
won 6-0 tonight. They had a really good start from Woodruff, gave up 2 hits, no walks, 5 Ks in 6 innings. They won 6-0 over Seattle, who's playing really well lately. So, wow, Milwaukee Brewers are now the best team in the major leagues, and they are one game over Chicago in the NL Central. And the NL East, the Phillies and Mets keep playing this seesaw back and forth. The Phillies are a half game up on New York Mets. It keeps changing. That's going to be all the way to the end, I think, of the season. The Phillies and the Mets going back and forth.
I think I agree it is going to go down to the end, but I kind of think Philly's going to pull that out.
I do too. I'm a Philadelphia fan, as you know. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and they just signed David Robertson. So I don't know if that's going to have any relevance, but we can only hope because they do need bullpen help. They're the 10th worst baseball team when it comes to bullpen. And then we go to the other. Yeah, that's not good. NL West. The Dodgers lead San Diego only by 3 games now. San Francisco 6.5 back. Arizona 8 games back at 500. They're playing. They're 50 and 50. But Dodgers 2-8 in their last 10. San Diego 7-3 in their last 10.
Yeah, the I don't really know what's going on with the Dodgers. They just don't. They do have several great players that are not delivering at the moment. They do have quite a few, and obviously they've had lots of injuries on their pitching staff, but they had so many to begin with. The injuries were kind of planned for, right? Because
Yeah,
remember they had like nine starters to begin
yeah,
with.
yeah,
Ends
absolutely.
up and ends up they've needed all nine of them. Go figure. And but hitting wise, they've got a lot of, big names that haven't really come through
Yeah,
and
that's
they've been
true.
struggling.
Otani and Smith have been great. Betts and
Hmm.
others, and Podges has been great also, the second year player.
Oh,
But he's been good. He really has. But
yep.
overall, there's been Betts and others have not lived up to potential. Interesting stat. I was just looking. The Dodgers have scored the most runs in the National League after tonight's games at 530. Um, Second place in scoring runs, it's
Oh,
527
six.
by the Cubs.
So the Dodgers
The
have
Dodgers.
scored 60, no, 51. Yeah, 51 more runs than the Brewers.
Yeah, a lot more. But oh, wow, interesting. Interesting. But the Brewers have given up 388 runs, and the Dodgers have given up 465 runs.
Yeah, so 77 more runs.
And here's an
Yeah,
interesting thing. I'm just looking. Who's given up the least amount of runs in the National League? The San Diego Padres. Maybe one of the reasons they've closed that gap to 3 games, going 7-3 in the last 10. They're getting some good pitching.
I guess so. Yeah.
Very interesting. So those are the close races in the National League. In the American League, the Detroit Tigers are still the best American League team. They're 3-7 in their last 10, though, Steve.
Yep. They did right before the break, the Mariners swept them and they've gotten out a little, 50-50 since. So there you go. But I still think they're going to be fine a week
Yeah,
from now.
yeah, I think they're going to be fine. They got a good team, and they're obviously going to win their division. I mean, they're 10 games ahead of Cleveland, 11 games again ahead of KC and Minnesota. But Cleveland, who we were talking about selling and getting out, and they're done, they're 8-2 in their last 10. and they're one game below 500. But my question to you, Steve, is if you're Cleveland 10 games back, KC 11 games back, and Minnesota 11 games back, you got a week or two to decide whether you're sellers or buyers.
Oh, that is, those are, all three of those teams.
And they all wanted to be competing this year.
Yeah, they all were
In.
all in. Like they
Yeah.
thought they were in. They were definitely playoff teams. So I guess, oh man, if I'm Cleveland, I am buying. If I'm Kansas City and Minnesota, I don't know.
It's
Kansas
tough.
City up 50-50.
Yeah, they're 6-4 in the last 10. And then same with Minnesota. They're 5-5 in the last 10. They're three games below 500. So it is a tough call. We go to other records in the American League close races. Toronto now leading the AL East. 7-3 in their last 10. They've won four in a row. Just fantastic. They're four games ahead of the Yankees, who are 6-4 in their last 10.
Yeah, I mean a four-game lead by Toronto, and it doesn't really even seem like they've really come through much. I mean, let's see, what's their run? So they're a plus 29.
Yeah, they're plus
That's
29.
not super great. 462 is looks what, like maybe like fourth or fifth.
Fifth, and it runs against is also like fourth or fifth or sixth. So they're kind of mid ground. They're just getting some really great timely hitting and pitching right now.
Yeah, they must,
The
because it doesn't
Yankees,
really seem like they're having all that great a year, but hey, they're 18 above 500 and have a four-game lead in the division.
yeah, the Yankees plus 109 with that 521 runs scored, which of course leads the AL. 527 runs scored by the Cubs leads the major leagues. No, I'm sorry, the Dodgers at 530. So runs against, though, the Yankees have given up 412, which isn't bad, which is like top five or six also. But the Yankees, 6-4 in the last 10, lost the last game. They do not seem to be playing well. There's something not going right. I think it's their pitching and
Yep,
hitting.
they've what well, they're top heavy. Yeah, they they've got some, like three great bats, three okay bats, and maybe less. Maybe like one okay bat and then five bad bats. But
Yeah, they got the best bat, and then they got lots of other bats. Boston 6 games back after that big streak they had. They are, but 6 games above 500, so they're out of position 7-3 in their last 10. Well, they got to be thinking, am I buyers or seller? Boston fan, grew up being a Boston fan. What are you hoping for Boston? Are you hoping they're in, or you're hoping they're like no?
no, I want them to be in. I hope they trade for somebody. If they have to give up good prospects, I'm fine with it, as long as we have some type of club, team control beyond this year.
What do you want, pitching or hitting? What do you need?
I would love a number two starter,
Yeah,
like a legitimate number
absolutely.
two starter.
Sure, and there's going to be a few out there. I really do believe there's going to be some movement this trade deadline. Let me go to the AL West. The Houston Astros now 4.5 games up on Seattle and 7 games up on Texas, who are one game above 500. Texas 7-3 in their last 10, though, and Houston 3-7 in their last 10. Seattle right in the middle, 5-5 in the last 10. How's it feeling up in there, Seattle native, where you live, right? Not native, but where you live now.
They I mean, everybody's in. The town's definitely in. There's a buzz, but everyone's still, they know ownership doesn't like spending money, and everybody thinks this team is missing something.
What is it missing?
So I guess a legitimate hitter, right?
Right.
Yeah, sure. A
So
legitimate
talk to
hitter.
me about it, the backdrop. There's a lot of talk I've read before the season started in previous seasons. The backdrop in Seattle's not good for hitters,
Yep.
and it's one of the reasons hitting. It's one of the weakest stadiums when it comes to offense, I believe, and they need a hitter. But what position? Where? What are they looking for?
It would definitely be infield. I think they have some pretty good bats in the outfield between, Julio and Arozarena. I mean, I guess they could put another outfielder out there. I mean, really anybody. Anybody.
Yeah, but they got Dylan Marr who plays all over. So they got a couple of players that play at different positions. So they can make anything work. But I agree, they need a bat. Their pitching's been great actually overall. And they got a couple of minor leaguers who still could contribute. Let's go to the wild card. That's really what it talks about because that's what's important. Detroit, Toronto, and Houston are leading their division. So the wild card is the Yankees, Seattle, and Boston. Tampa Bay, who we didn't bring up, 1.5 games back in the wild card. Texas 2.5
Yep.
games back. Cleveland 3.5 games back. At Los Angeles 4. Kansas City 4.5. Minnesota 4.5. That's as deep as I'll go. Those are the only people possibly still in the wild card connection. But if you're below 500 at 4.5 games back, are you really in it?
Or yeah, right. I mean, dang, you're 3 games under 500, and there's three teams right ahead of you. No, one, two, three, four
Four
teams ahead
teams
of you.
exactly. I mean, yeah, it's tough. So you got to be sellers. I think some of these teams, though, I think are going to give it another week or so. Cleveland 8-2 in the last 10, as we brought up earlier. They're just thinking, let's ride this wave. Let's see where we are. They're 3.5 games back. I mean, to be honest with you, if I'm Cleveland, there's only 2 games ahead of, 3 teams ahead of them to make a wild card spot. I'm in right now, even though they're 1 game below 500.
I'm shocked about the Angels. Look at the Angels at 4 games back. They, right?
Yeah, they're 2 games below 500, only 4 games back in the wild card. And if you're Los Angeles, Anaheim, it's really Anaheim. Let's be honest. The Angels, you got to be really happy. Only 4 games out of the wild card spot in the AL, so that's very interesting. In the NL, we got Milwaukee, the Dodgers, and the Phillies leading their divisions, and of course the Cubs, the Mets, and the Padres are the top three wild card spots. So who is in it? Cincinnati, 3.5 games back. San Francisco, 3.5 games back, both at 52 and 49. St. Louis, 3.5 games back, 52 and 49. So we got three teams with the identical records, 3.5 games back.
Yeah. I mean, and all of them are good. I mean, Cincinnati probably you're not betting on them, but the Giants or the Cardinals, I think, could easily pull that off, right?
Yeah, the Giants have been good all year, actually, off and on. We're getting some surprising play. St. Louis, I have been happy with how they've been playing, as some things have been surprising. They've been playing better than I thought they would this year. And Cincinnati, sure, they got a lot of young players, but they're still there. I think all three of those teams got to be thinking, we're in it still. We're above 500. Arizona, 1 game below 500, 5.5 games back. Are they still in it, Steve?
I don't think so.
Yeah, 3 teams ahead of
Um,
you. 3 teams ahead of you. I mean, listen, they actually have some of the biggest trade chips out there in Suarez and Naylor.
yeah, they're definitely in a tough position with their fan base at like basically 500, where, yeah, a large portion of their fan base would say they should be adding talent.
Yeah.
But you- if you're being realistic and you got the unrestricted free agents at the end of the year who are actually performing well for you and you could recoup some value, that's a terrible spot to be in as a front office for sure.
Yeah, but if they were 52 and 49 like those three other teams, we would actually be saying, wow, they should be in it. They should really keep going. But you're right, with those contracts they have, it is very tempting. It's a great races we got going on as we head into the end of July. I'm just really excited about some of the races we got going, some of the seesaws like the Phillies and the Mets. But let's go into some stats, Steve. I always like the Aaron Judge report, but Aaron Judge is now hitting below 350. He's at 349.
Oh no, he's plummeting. Granted, he had a month where he hit like 400, right? So that can't go on. But you could have a month after that where you hit 300 and your average would go to 350. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, we love Judge. We've broken down Judge before. He's the best player in the major leagues offensively, I do believe. Will Smith at 327, the second highest average, just having a great year, still doing well. Pena for the Astros coming back off the IL at 322. He'll be back in a week or two. And then Wilson plummeting fast at 318 now in fourth place in batting. He was up at 340 or so. The
Yeah,
rookie
for a long time.
possibly could hit below 200 if he keeps this pace up.
He's
Below
falling for
300,
sure.
below 300. Yeah, he could. And then Aranda at 316. Those are your top averages. And then in home runs are the people we know. You know, Cal is leading the major leagues in home runs with 38.
That's peculiar, but we love it up here in the Pacific Northwest.
Riley's great, man. I mean, we love the big dumper, and Judge
Yeah,
second with 36. Suarez, who has had he had back-to-back games with two homers, I believe, this weekend. Suarez now at 36, tied with Judge, Otani with 35, and Schwarber with 32. That's the top five. The only major league hitters above 30 home runs. All those names are hitters. Sure, some of them are ahead of paces we've thought they should be, but they're all power hitters, and it's not a big surprise.
I no, you're right. And the Suarez thing, he's an unrestricted free agent for the Diamondbacks, having maybe his second best year of his career. His ops is 933, slugging over 600 at 605. Yeah, I mean, 257 average, 257. So, yeah, good major props to him
He's
from
34.
Cincinnati,
He's
from
34.
Cincinnati
What kind
to
of contract?
Seattle to Arizona.
What kind of contract is Suarez going to get at
I mean,
35 next year?
like, his agent would probably shoot for 5 years, right?
Yeah, I would think 4 to 5 years for sure. Coming off a year like this, someone's going to pay him a lot of money.
Could you get, could he get 5 years, 125 million? So 25 a year for 5 years?
To be honest with you, that would be a deal for a club.
It, it kind of would be.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
well,
what I'm
so,
saying. Maybe five something four would be more reasonable, but yeah,
but
he's yeah.
five for 30, like 150 million?
No, he won't get that. He'll get 20
Okay.
something.
Okay. So maybe like 26.5, 27.5.
Sure,
Yeah, yeah.
sure, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. So wins, the league leaders. I love stats. I love numbers. Peralta for the Brewers now has 12 wins, and Steve, he's on the outside looking in closely to the possible 20-game winner.
Wow.
Right, with 12 wins, he's within the possibility.
Yeah, he is.
Crochet with
Oh,
11, Freed with 11, Bassett for the Blue Jays with 10. That's a surprise to me. Boyd with 10. We talked about him. Fought for the Diamondbacks with 10, Pavada with 10, Rodon with 10, Ryan with 10, Scuba with 10, and Valdez with 10. So a lot of players on pace for like 17, 18 wins, but we got one legitimate guy on pace, possibly for 20. We have, 20-game winners are pretty rare nowadays.
yeah, they are. Very rare.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking at Bassett, right? Fourth in
Yeah.
win. Well, he's got 10 wins, but he's got, 389 ERA and a 1.36 whip.
Yes. That's because he's
Those are,
getting they're scoring some runs for him.
yeah, clearly. I would like to see what his run support is. It's got to be significant.
But just to let you know, Scott Bassett won 10 games in 2019, 12 and 21, 15 and 22, 16 and 23, 10 last year. So here's a guy who's won double-digit wins a lot. He's pitching well. Blue Jays leading the AL East. So good for Chris Bassett, one of their best starters overall, right? I mean, he's given it to him.
Yeah, their whole pitching staff is actually doing, they're good. Like they're all
Not great, but good.
average,
Yeah, like
above
Barrios.
average.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all above average.
Yeah.
And like Gaussman, who had a bad run, but then kind of had a good run. And when it all comes down to it, you look at his numbers and you're like, oh, that's kind of above average.
Steve, without looking, who leads the major leagues in strikeouts right now?
It's got to still be Crochet, right?
Yeah, Crochet with 165, but Scooble and Wheeler both have 164. Just one
Oh,
strikeout
wow.
behind them. Yeah, yeah.
When the Red Sox and the Phillies played tonight, I had told my dad earlier in the day, I was trying to prepare him. I go, hey, we're pitching Walker Bueller. His ERA is 6.12. They're pitching this guy named Zach Wheeler, who's pretty much been one of the five best pitchers in the game for the past 5 years,
Right.
you know? And he was like, well, sometimes that's what they got to play the games for,
That's
Stephen.
true. He's right. He is right. And look how that game turned out. Close game,
Yeah,
one towards the end.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going into some exciting times in baseball because the trade deadline's coming up. We're going to have some players who are going to be moved. And so things will be changing. But right now, it's very exciting. Some exciting races, a lot of great baseball still going on, Steve.
I agree. I'm excited. We're getting into the good part of the season.
Oh, absolutely. We're just entering the dog days of summer, really heading into August. I'm Dan O'Day. That's Steve Romano. Thanks for joining us for Fantasy Baseball. We'll talk to you next week. Cheers.
Have a good one.